how does a man express to himself express to his woman that, like, I can pay for this date today? Maybe it's just like he's moving funds around.
Then we're not going on a date.
So why are you taking me on a date?
Where are we going? Why am I bathing? Also,
why are both working?
No.
I'm not wearing my towel.
Let's start at the beginning.
Yes, okay.
Hey guys, this is Anesu, aka Nyati Shonga.
Hello, my name is Chido, aka Chizzy. Wagwan, Advocate Amanda here. Hi everyone, this is Kuda, aka Cooks. Hi, and welcome to As Told by Us, the podcast. This is a weekly podcast where 4 professional millennials discuss living in Zimbabwe and trying to figure life out.
Someone once told us the grass is much greener on the other side.
But from where we're standing, our grass is green. Subscribe, like, share, comment down below.
Welcome back to another episode of As Told by Us. Okay, so for this episode, we are going to do a series of dilemmas. So, featuring the chicken. Okay, so we're going to do a series of dilemmas. Please remember that you can send us your dilemmas via the anonymous link that will be in the bio, the bottom of this episode, and our social media pages. You'll find the anonymous link to ask us any question, any dilemma, whatever you have in mind. Send it via the link. Okay, so the first dilemma is, the topic is, if you are in your 30s, do you feel like you wasted your 20s? So, I spent my 20s on the grind. My life only started taking shape when I was about 29. My life was all about education and work. During my 20s, I faced some setbacks in life and I moved out at 30. I really had time. I was always either at work or in a library. As a result, I feel like I missed out on a lot of things, especially dating and meeting new people. I have the same friends that I had in high school. Although I used my 20s to build the foundation of my life, I also feel like I missed out on so much. Do you guys feel the same? Do y'all feel the same? I mean, to be fair, we're mostly now at the tail end.
I'm still 20-something.
At the tail end, but I understand the sentiment of working, going to school, having to feel like I need to amass all this knowledge, all my degrees, all of this before I start a family, before I get started on life, I need to be qualified, I need to have so-and-so. So it's really more of a grinding stage. And then they always say like your 30s are like your 20s, except you have more money, which fingers crossed, I hope is true. But do you feel like you've wasted your 20s? Or maybe because we had the privilege of going to uni, we kind of lived all our fun times in uni?
I have no regrets. I don't think I wasted my 20s. I had fun, but I also did put in a lot of work. And I actually don't regret the times that I spent working and being serious, because it really does give you an advantage later. And I also don't regret the times that I was not serious and wasted a lot of time, kissed a lot of frogs. Maybe not a lot, but but I don't think anything was a waste. So yeah, I'm okay with how I spent my time.
Yeah, I feel like just having like that negative perception That's the only problem I have with the dilemma. Because you feel like you've wasted your 20s, but you were actually doing something very productive. It's not like you were just sitting around watching the days go by. You were actually productive. Also, I feel like lots of 30-year-olds are still at home, living with their parents, and you've actually managed to move out. So I guess, I don't know, the negative part of that statement in itself is like, but you were doing something. I guess maybe you could have balanced it out, had some fun along the way. Because, guys, life is hard. So you need balance in life.
I also feel like it's just being too fixed to a timeline, because I really believe that everybody's stages kind of happen differently. Maybe you haven't even gotten into your fun era yet. It doesn't have to have been in your early 20s. You could be in your 30s and then decide, I'm going to take 2 years to go travel and go be ridiculous. So, no crying over spilled milk.
6.
I think there's a culture of ageism these days, and like a lot of pressure, and people need to give themselves more grace. Like 30 is not old. Like it may feel like it, but it's like you're not old. In the grand scheme of things, you can still have fun. You're not like there's no deadline or whatnot, and things come at different paces, so you don't have to like stress yourself. I feel like
Cheetah feels that.
I think I'm just gonna echo what 6 has said. Like, there's no rush in Africa.
Zimbabwe is independent.
Really, I don't know, because I had this kind of like, oh my gosh, did I waste my 20s when I was turning 30? But then I just told myself, no, like, dog, you've done so much, I think there's power in also just like giving yourself grace and saying like, look, all these things, like I've achieved a lot in my 20s, and just give yourself credit for that.
I also feel like your 20s are very foundational, right? It's like your first job. If you want, it's the best time, I would say, to get your further education, because once you've taken a break from like school, going back, I mean, we took a bit of a gap, but even that in itself is long. Even doing a short course feels like doing a PhD, so you might as well, whilst your brain is still fresh, get as much foundational things together. And then obviously, because chances are, if you're going to be very traditionalist, once you enter your 30s, your shift is no longer building your business, building your career. It's now building a family and now mending and blending and all of that. However, I did kind of take this question more as this person feels like they probably could have gone out more, right? I don't know, bowered more, whatever. And I'm just thinking that like in your 37, if you met a 37, so I'm going to say if you met a 37-year-old man in Publix, and then if you met a 37-year-old lady in Publix, are you looking at them side-eyed like, why are you here? This is for children, go home? Or are you feeling like, anybody, if you still want to live it up, still want to have a good time, have a good time. It's good Publix, good Mashredik.
I don't think I'd ever I don't think I'd ever side-eye anyone, because I think I would want that freedom when I'm that age, I also want to just, if I feel like I want to go out to a club,
You should just go.
I should just go out, because you don't know my life, you don't know what I'm going through. Maybe I've just had a hectic time at work and I just want to unwind. So I don't ever want to like side eye anyone and say like, oh, you're too old to be here. Because at some point I'm also going to be at that age, and I'm also going to want to go out and let off some steam.
But maybe fun is different, right? Like at 37, maybe fun isn't Pablo's. Maybe fun is... But even at 25, Pablo's could also not be fun.
It just depends on
who you are and what
maybe
you like.
At 37 now, fun is like going to lecture or wearing matching outfits.
Never gonna be me. Never gonna be fun.
Guys, never say never. But you know what? But you know what? I've seen those groups and they look happy.
Exactly.
They're taking pictures. They're doing their thing. And I think that's all that matters. The only waste of time is sitting thinking, did I waste time? The time is gone. And, you know, if you feel like, hey, I never did the clubbing thing and I'm curious, go.
Yeah.
Go check them out. There's so many different types. There's places where you'll find people that you'll relate to. There's places you'll go to and not like. And now you know. Don't sit and you know,
say
wonder.
What if?
Also just going, so leading from that, as you were growing up, what was the rule in your household about going out? Could you not? How late did you have a curfew? Were you just go, have a great time, see you when you see you, bye? Or was it a bit stricter? Anyway. And I want to start with Anisu. Because you're dwelling on this very hardly.
It was very strict at home. But I will say it was very strict before I went to university.
Yeah.
So like when I was a teenager and all of that, it was very, very strict. Like if you're going out, you need to tell her what time you're going to be done. She will come and pick you up. My mother, that is. Where are you going? You need to be specific. Who are you going to be with? And all of that. But as time went by, it wasn't that strict anymore.
Do you think that was good or bad? Would you have wanted to go out more when you were, say, in high school? Or do you think the rules were good for you?
I think the rules were fine. During that time, yes, I would have wanted to be with my friends and all of that, but it wasn't that deep. Because I got to do it anyways. I got to go out at some point. So it wasn't...
And I think that's always... Did you ever jailbreak?
No.
I did not.
None of you ever jailbroke?
No. I never had to do it. Where am I going?
I did once, but it wasn't so much of a jailbreak in the sense of like escaping. But I wanted to go somewhere and then they said no, but I knew they weren't going to be there that day. So I thought, hey, I could probably still go. I couldn't drive or anything, so I had a ride with my friend's older cousin who could drive and stuff. So we went. It was a day event, so I thought, I'll probably be back in the afternoon before they get back. So everything's going to be fine. So we go, but obviously friend's older cousin, they're, drinking, doing whatever. He doesn't want to go home yet. So there was no one to take us home. So then now I'm under pressure. Long story short, I got home later than my parents. They were really pissed off. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that late. And then after that, it was just an arrangement of, okay, well, just tell us where you're going. And it was fine. That was the only time they actually said, no, you can't go to this thing. And I thought, why not? So yeah, but just to answer the question, I think mine wasn't so strict. I think I benefited a lot from having older siblings and an older brother. So a lot of the time it was like a group thing. If he was going, then it was a lot easier for me to go. And I think it was good in the sense that by the time I got to uni, I wasn't very easily excited by a lot of things. I saw a lot of kids who had never gone outside until they were in university and they lost their minds. They did not know how to handle themselves, and I thought that was bad. But by the time I got to uni, it wasn't like that exciting for me, and I could control myself and also not get carried away.
I started partying, I think I'm not going to say the year, when I was 16. 16. And for me, it was kind of easier because like the person I would go out with was like considered like we're like brothers because like our families were so tight. So and he was like a year older, so it was like if it's with him, if they're together,
then you're good. Yeah,
then
then they're fine.
Yeah. So we partied like a lot. So by the time we got to varsity, it was just like, you're not as...
When you say partied,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Clubs.
Okay.
DJ. Clubs, concerts, festivals, you name it. It was just like, we're just actually...
outside. You outside.
Fully. And then, then varsity was chilled. But then I find that with my younger siblings, they were actually more strict with them, right? Because they didn't really have like what I had. Maybe it would have been easier if I was going out with them. But then they had more.
So you're the problem. Shame on you.
Like you didn't pay back.
Yeah, I didn't pay back enough. We would go to stuff, but then they were also like introverts, so it's like,
Oh, okay. So let's blame your siblings.
She don't know to get it.
I think my teenage whatever was quite similar to Anisu's, so it was like very strict. And if you want to go out, who are you going with, where, what time? Okay, I'm gonna come pick you up. And my mom would always come early. It's like we're saying this thing is finishing at 9. My mom will be there at 8. So it's like, and then she's already calling like, Chibuda, I'm here. And I'm like,
it's not done.
It's not done, please. But still, like I just have to. And I was listening to you guys say like how your experiences partying and stuff when you were younger helped when you got to university. But I think even for me, by the time I went to varsity, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, crazy. Like I wasn't crazy about it.
The novelty had died.
The novelty had died because I was really like over the whole, Mom, I want to do this, and she'd always say no. So I was already like over it. I think the reverse psychology worked in that sense of like, well, I didn't grow up doing all of these things, so why should I now kind of get crazy over it? When I have the freedom. So, yeah.
Okay, so again, similar, since anyway, our mothers knew each other. Clearly, we were raised the same. Being that, when I was in high school, definitely there was a curfew, there were rules, there was no going out as much. I think my parents were more, they would say yes to like school events, right? So like V-Dons, Kotko, Breakout, those kinds of things.
Only they knew.
But because there were so many of those anyway in the year, and they would let me go, so at least like every month or something, or at least every 3 months, there was something. So I'd go, they would allow me to do that. But like obviously, I couldn't go to like
New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Well, New Year's was actually okay. New Year's, for some reason, that was actually not too bad. They weren't like that bad. But things like clubs. I was trying to think of like the names of the clubs back in the day. There was like H2O, there was Oxygen, there was the one you just exactly XCM. What was the one that had red room, red lounge?
Yeah,
I wouldn't
something,
know.
Whatever, there was something, but like, so I wouldn't be allowed to go to any of those. And again, because my dad did the dropping off and picking up. Chances are, if he dropped me off at like 7 hours, for example, he wouldn't leave. So he would just stay until I said I was. until I said, like he was just there. So whenever I was ready to go home, he would be like, cool. I could do day events. There are no issues. They also weren't. I don't want to say they weren't strict about drinking, but there was a bit of leeway in high school
to drink.
Yeah. There was a bit of leeway.
From what age?
Okay, I don't want to air out my parents, but like my parents are people that had a really good time. Like my friends really enjoyed having a good time. And I think because like drinking wasn't like a taboo, like, oh my God, you know, what are you doing? They would actually probably rather have you be drunk at home, so that when you leave and go get drunk at a party or whatever, you now have a bit of a tolerance. So, you know, they kind of trained us somehow. That reverse psychology thing kind of works. So because we were allowed to drink with supervision, by the time I did get to uni, I wasn't on the floor drunk. Right? I think, however, because I am the oldest, older, whatever, my sister didn't have the same kind of rules. If she was with me, she was cool. So I actually feel I did her a bit of a disservice, because when I was out, she was out. But because she's so much younger now, when you think she should be out, she's also over it. But she, you know, but she's younger. Because when she was younger, she was out with me.
But I think it's okay, because I think it's all just a thing of safety and like, are you okay when you do all these things? Until you get to a stage where you can choose for yourself what it is you want to do with your time. And if she gets to a point where she's like, I saw the whole club thing when I was safe with my older sibling, and I know what that's like, that's not for me anymore, then it's okay to move on.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the next dilemma, because I feel like we've dealt with this one for a while. Do you guys want to go on to the next one?
Yes, please, man.
Do you want to do yours?
Do yours.
Okay, so the last one is the last of mine. A few days into... so it's called Dating a Zimbabwean Man.
Okay.
Ooh. I met a Zimbabwean man who seems very highly... Oh, no. Go back. Sorry. He seems very intelligent. But now he's asking for money. First, he asked for money for his... He has a job. Oh, he just lost his job, shame. But he has a car. He asked for money, and I said no. Then he asked again for $1,000. The girl sis also said no. So now she's saying he's very loving, he's very nice, but this thing about asking me for money, is it normal or is it a cultural thing? That's the girls ask. I don't know. You guys are the Zimbabwean women. Are your men them asking you for money? Is it normal? Is it culture? Or is it circumstantial?
This lady is dating a deadbeat, I feel.
A deadbeat. Okay, but she said he lost his job. Right? He lost his job. The first amount of money he asked for a loan so he can finish his house. So I don't know how much that was. But good sis said no. Then he asked for $1,000. Good sis said no again. So she says, yes, his situation is a bit desperate because he lost his job, but he has a house and he has a car, but he's always asking for favors. And he keeps saying things like, if I had a laptop, I would.
Yeah, you see, for me, it's like, what is that?
But he's loving and sweet.
If you're my manding, right? Hey, bruh.
Who's supposed to give who money here?
Exactly. Me, is it, how am I going to ask you for money to do my hair now if you're always asking me, if I had a laptop, I'd do this and that? Is this lady black?
I don't know.
Is she a cash cow? Does he know that she's rich?
You know what? Let me ask a Zimbabwean man. A Zimbabwean man.
Yes.
Is it normal? Or is it cultural? Is it the economy? Why are you asking women for money?
I think, first of all, for a man, especially a Zimbabwean man, to actually ask a woman for money, then usually adipatite. Right? Okay. They are obviously the scammer types, like he's just trying to, he's like a deadbeat or a bum. But then if he's actually genuinely loving and like he actually can see that he's got good qualities, he's actually in a tough spot because like we're all affected by the economy. And he's like to his hand, like, yo.
And to that, in my eyes,
how tight does it need to be?
Yeah.
What is tight? This is someone you've met in the last few months, right?
Yeah.
And then like men, women, Zimbabwe aside, just as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a relationship is a partnership, right?
Are they in a relationship?
She said a few days into the relationship.
This is what I'm saying, guys. This man, he's read.
Even in the tight, right? Even in the tight and in the relationship, I feel like most guys or most people would really exhaust every possible option before they get to that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually agree now because it's days. Because I thought it was like, I was assuming like they've been together for a while. But if it's
Okay, what's a while? What's a while that makes it?
A while, maybe a couple of months, and then
After 2 months, asking me for money.
Not 2 months, but
Couple, 2.
No, but like if like,
I feel like even just asking your girlfriend for money doesn't sit right with me. Where is your family? Where are your brothers? Where are your sisters? Where are your parents? Why are you asking me, someone you're dating, for money? And he asked twice. So the first time she said
and
no.
he's always nagging. If I had a laptop, I would be doing it.
Yeah, okay, the nagging part, definitely.
I understand if you were to ask, you've asked someone, they've actually told you, no, I can't do that financially for you. Why are you asking
Read
again?
the room.
Oh wait, okay. My question is like in general, like Hans just don't want to part ways with like
In general,
partner.
In general, people don't like being asked for money.
No,
In general, whether male or female, don't. Yeah.
But I feel like in this case specifically, let's keep it 100. Right? Let's keep it 100 all the way 100, right? Because I know 90% of dudes would ask their girls as last resort. Right?
Yeah.
But like emergency just happened, that type of thing. Like he would just hold back the bag just on the principle. It's my nigga.
But these things are not emergencies. It's asking for a loan for me to help you build a house that I might not ever live in.
Imagine.
So
Why am I helping you build a house, nigga?
Nah, this
And then you give me like promises, we'll get married after a few days. And then I build a house and then you're cheating with some other, No.
I would understand if it's like a funeral setup, they've been dating for a while, he needs money to buy groceries. Yeah. But these things are like hectic. Also, he has a car.
And
By this time,
Sell your car to finish your house off.
Or even like make money, be a Via driver or whatever. Like sustain yourself. Why are you sitting at home thinking the best thing is to ask my girlfriend for money?
Yeah, the couple of days things, and even the things he's asking for, it's a bit,
And the frequency of it, because I feel like, as Anes said, right, if it's an emergency, emergency, something has happened, like, I need cash now, please.
Yeah.
All right. But frequency every other day. No.
Okay, so what's an acceptable, okay, not even frequency, like, let's talk about just a slight segue.
No.
No, if we're together, right?
No.
If we're together, like let's just talk about in general, like dating, whatever.
Okay.
These money conversations, because I think it's a touchy subject.
Okay, we're actually I think we're getting into this now. Let's go.
It's a touchy subject. So, how does a man express to himself express to his woman that like, I can pay for this date today. Maybe it's just like he's moving funds around.
Then we're not going on a date. So why are you taking me on a date?
Where are we going? Why am I bathing? Date
Also, why we're both working?
No. Let's start at the beginning.
Yes, okay.
You're gonna bath anyway.
Let's start at the beginning. I feel like there's certain stages in the relationship that shouldn't be skipped.
Okay.
And I feel like there should be a certain structure to how you guys decide to go about the relationship. Now you are a man, you see me here, I've got my little job, I've got my little life, I'm doing my thing, I'm okay, I'm happy. You decide to come and want to be a part of my life, right? And it shouldn't be in the sense of like, are you coming because you think I'm able to help sustain you or whatever it is? Or are you coming because you want to come and be my man in the relationship, right? So now we're at the stage. We're not yet at the stage where we've combined our finances. We're codependent in any way. you want to take me on a date, but you don't have money for the date. So you can't take me on a date.
Okay, let me.
You don't.
Okay.
It's simple.
No, let me clarify. So let's say all the basics, like the stages, like you're met, you're vibing. He's paid for dates before. Like you actually know that like he has the capacity to like pay for dates, right?
Yeah.
And you are like a couple of months in, and it's like hey babes, for today it's like. But we had, maybe you have plans, relationships go and that type of thing. So for this date, do you mind,
No, so we're just gonna stay at home. I'm gonna stay at my house. He's
so no experiences. Why not?
You see, there's a difference, right? Yeah. If I've instigated something that we're going to do that costs money, half the time I've got my money to do it, right? And then if we're going together, cool. You might decide, no, I'm going to cover drinks. But if you aren't able to do that, I was already going to this thing. This is something that I've planned for. Fine, money is not a big issue. But then if it's a date it's like a date night that we're supposed to have, you don't have money this time, that's cool. We don't have to spend money for every date, especially if you're saying we're far into the relationship. We actually don't even need to spend money unless it's like a time where you're like, oh, I want to take you out and go eat. But if you're saying that without money, the two of us aren't able to do anything, then
No. Basically, I'm trying to go to like, under what conditions she spoiled the nigga?
It's his birthday.
Okay.
His birthday.
Come on.
It's a Christmas. Wonderful day.
Or if it's just like a thing, but then like, a nigga should be happy that I'm happy.
Nah, guys.
Exactly.
Hey there, lovely listeners. So listen, running a podcast in Zimbabwe is quite the journey. It requires resources. And when I say resources, I mean money, time, and effort. Wondering how you can support us? Well, we've got you covered with Inbucks. Or World Remit if you're on the other side of the world and you'd love to contribute. Our Inbucks number is 077-810-3171. Whether it's the cost of a cup of coffee or a virtual high five, every little bit of your support counts. Remember, supporting our podcast isn't about funding our caffeine addiction, though it is in part, but your support keeps our podcast alive and thriving and helps us create more content, ensuring that our laughter echoes through your devices. Thanks again for being part of our community and for listening.
Okay, I also just am opposing. I'm now on Six's side. I feel like these things need to be reciprocal. You can't always expect someone to treat you one day of a month. Just say, oh, babe,
I'm taking you out.
I really think you like this place. Let's go out. It shouldn't be you're a man, so you need to take me out all the time, and you can only get on your birthday.
But the thing is, Agnes, right? I agree. When we are in a relationship,
yes, which is the situation he's given us.
Right? We're in a fully established relationship. We've now been together for a minute. We've probably shared saliva and body fluid, and we are now really into this thing, right? We've probably even exchanged I love yous.
Why are you exchanging body fluid
before I love you?
Test drive.
It happens.
You gotta test drive it before you love it, right? Anyway, so now we're now deep into this, right? In that circumstance,
which is the one he's given us.
In that circumstance, I think it's okay, but not to be expected. But it's okay for me every once in a while, if I do so wish to spoil
to take you.
However, let it not be an expectation that because you don't have, I must now.
Okay, so expectation.
That's different.
I think it's a little bit different. The way that I'm going to spoil you is not the same way you're going to spoil me. And I feel like there's many ways. If it comes to spending money, right? I'm not going to want to wine and dine you. And honestly, in my experience, it's just because I don't think that's really what you're into. I mean, you'd like the novelty of it to say, oh, she's taking me out, which you can do once in a while, you know, birthday occasion, or even just like it's just a fun thing. But then I found that I'm more inclined to do something aligned to what he'd be interested in, which would include, you know, spending money on it. But then it's not like a tit for tat to say, oh, I'm going to wine and dine him, because why am I doing that?
But doesn't it feel like this Libra scale? Like Hans have all these expectations of us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also should have our own expectations. We definitely could have expectations.
Okay, what are your expectations?
It's not helping you pay for your house.
Okay, no. The
Buy
house
me a
is
laptop.
side. The laptop side to that's an extreme one. But I'm talking about.
What do you want?
What are your expectations?
The expectations is like I'm a human being as well, right? If I'm having a bad day, I can't be going like, yo, my hand cannot, because hands have like this thing of like intuition of like, yo, you might be stepping out, but you can't tell when your nigga is not happy. Like you can tell like, oh, this nigga is. So now if you know like I like a certain thing, but then there's a principle that I can't spend.
I feel like there's a chat. There's a story behind this.
There's no story.
Because the thing is, what do you mean you can't tell? What are you communicating to her?
No, a lot of times as guys, we feel like we can't express ourselves to our women because it's going to be used against us.
Okay, right. Let's take it there.
Yeah.
So now why are you frustrated when she then can't read your mind because you're not comfortable enough to express
But I can read her mind by just talking to her and seeing, because you're with your person. This is months in. We're talking about like how to get to the
Can you
point.
see why
There's
those
no
two things
communication,
contradict?
From one side.
You're saying
On
look,
both sides.
Right. You're saying on a general level, you feel you aren't able to express yourself because things going to be used against you.
Yeah.
That's already your preconceived notion going into these conversations, right? Meaning you've already put up that wall to say that even if I'm going through a hard time, there's a certain line.
I'm talking about like when you talk about you open up. And then you see the reaction.
No, you already said you aren't able to open up because that will be used against you.
Okay, I'm talking from personal experience.
What's the story?
Tell us what you're saying. Let's go. Tell us who did you want.
No, right?
What did she do? So go.
Which Zim moments always like.
Go in there, bring the receipts. Tell us things that are tangible.
No, the thing is,
because we are not here.
With hands, girl. You can express yourself and go like, yo, I'm going through A, B, C, D. And
what's
it's just like,
so why would a girl use that against you in future conversations?
What?
I think we need like a proper example.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to have like context when you're discussing these things. So
it's too hard.
You said,
and it's too generalized.
You told us honestly,
that's what we're saying. That's why it's not cheating.
Tell us the story.
What are you saying?
Okay, my chat.
Because we're gonna be.
I feel like I went off topic. Like my chat was literally about spending. It was just about like Hans being more comfortable with like spoiling their niggas every now and again. And you said something like, guys, we actually do want to be spoiled. You know?
But what I'm talking about is the nature of the spoiling, right? There's some guys who, okay, cool. There's certain things you'll do for me, like say, going out for dinner or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you take him out for dinner and want to pay.
The novelty may not always be the same.
A certain kind of guy will still refuse for you to pay. Because it's like, okay, cool, even if it was my idea, let's go out, I want to take you out. He still doesn't want to pay. But then small things like maybe making something for him or cooking or like engaging in an activity that he likes results better. So I think you can't generalize this kind of thing.
I also feel like girls actually, I guess maybe because we are quite nurturing, want to be able to. I think we kind of just spoil men anyway, just right. But because of the culture, we've had to maybe hold back a bit until we are sure that this person's worth what my efforts, because once I put effort, we're going 200%. And so I don't want to give everything to a person who's not serious, who's only giving me 10, who's not all the way there. So once we feel comfortable enough to say, no, this guy's actually in it with me, then, man, you'll never have to complain.
True.
But spoilation will come.
And what's with this thing of you guys wanting princess treatment? What is going on?
It's because the boys are now saucy.
So the reason I couldn't come up with like a personal example, right? It's like I'm more speaking for the bros who, because I hear these complaints around guys. For me personally, like my previous relationships, I've been with women who like have spoiled me like a lot and taken me out and stuff like that, right? Without even me asking or requesting it.
What do you mean by spoiled? Spending money on you, or
just
in the nature that they handle?
Even just like experiences, knowing what I like, that type of thing, like curating like certain things and that whole type of vibe. But I hear a lot of dudes complain, yo, I do all X, Y, Z. I can't even get a 1, that type of thing. So I just like, let me just bring it to the pod and also like,
I think it's because they don't communicate.
I was about to say, I think the issue, because you mentioned an issue of guys can't express their feelings to their girls because they're afraid that they'll always use it against them. And I feel like that's just already, we're starting on a back foot. Yeah. Because that's a huge barrier to communication, right? You're already assuming that I'm going to use it against you. Why, if we're in a relationship, if you're telling me something that's personal, like I'm really struggling at work, we're not getting paid at work, whatever. Why, in my right mind, surely, why would I, if I like you, why would I then use that against you, Because I also want to communicate. The moment you communicate to me your feelings, I feel, okay, you know what, he's so into me that he wants to share his, that's a form of intimacy, like sharing problems and the like. So the moment that you cut off that intimacy and you're not communicating, I'm gonna feel it, but I'm gonna feel like maybe you don't like me, as much as you say you do. So I'm also gonna just keep you at arm's length because I feel like we're not breaking those walls. So I don't know. It just creates a negative cycle already.
And I think okay, on that chat, I think that's when I kind of veered off topic. But just to address that, and this is also Men's Mental Health Month. So
okay.
Anyway, I feel like, in my experience, definitely, I've had like great advice and support from women, but I would like to say that there's sometimes when it feels like our issues are kind of trivialized, especially in relationships. It's like it's not that deep because you're a dude, you're supposed to go through it, you're supposed to fight through it. You're supposed to keep pushing a lot of the time. And I remember certain points in previous relationships where it was like, I don't know how to talk to my person because when I talk to her, I don't feel heard. You see?
It's like, what should I say?
Yes, what should I say? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, fam, I'm fighting against the world.
And it's kind of random. I don't know why. I just wanted to hand up.
Just before you finish, what do you mean when you talk about feeling heard? What does that look like to you?
So I feel like part of communication, right, is I think to a certain extent there should be like some empathy, right? So like if you tell me like, oh I had a bad day and this happened, and I'm actually curious, like, okay, what happened? Because obviously as guys we're kind of like problem solvers, like, okay, what's the problem? Like how do we get to solution, right? But then now, but then now if I'm talking about like, I'm dealing with this, it's like, I'm like, like,
help me solve the problem.
Can I actually
empathy
before that?
Empathy.
No, but here's the, you know what the difference difference is, right? Because you're saying, as a man, you come to me with a problem, and then I solve it. Chances I don't want you to solve it. I'm just venting. Right? But you're coming at me with, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to tell your boss this and you're going to do that. Don't. But then, so when you're telling me your problems, I'm treating it the way that I want you to do it. So I'm going to say, hey, because I want you to, when I tell you, you also say, hey.
But that's the thing, it's a timing thing. If you're really like,
so I'm not coming to solve your problem. You have to empathize.
I think it's an issue of understanding the fundamentals of the nature of women and the nature of men. Because you just described how you'd want a conversation with your bro. I'm not your bro.
Exactly.
Right? You want to go have a logical conversation with the man, then go have a logical conversation with the man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, but then if you are not taking into account the differences in the way that we perceive and see things. To her, empathy is like, what do you want me to do? Because if a man comes to me with a problem, right? I don't think he wants me to solve it. Right? This is me genuinely saying, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he literally wants me to be like, okay, baby, sit down, let me fix this. And then I go into your life and then what? Coach, how did your boss? What you see what I mean? I'm not receiving that in a practical sense to say that there's something I need to do. Whereas if I go to my man with a problem, he's seeing it in a practical sense. Like, I need to gear up, I'm the guy, I need to fix this.
No, okay, right? What both you and Kuda say is actually on point, right? And I'm gonna now take it to like now a personal level, right?
Yes, let's
go.
No,
it's not
That's where you
I was in a long relationship, right? Then obviously you get to a point where you kind of understand that, look, she's not actually like venting to me so that I can go solve the problem. She just wants to vent, right? It's just like if you've been in a long-term relationship, even as a dude, like we understand those dynamics. Eventually you get, because you're with your person, and this is like your best friend because you all talk like all the time, right? But all I'm saying is that there's nuance to conflict, right? So if I'm going through certain things, it doesn't mean like come through to like solve my problem. But like women are intelligent too. Women have problem solving skills too. You can actually go like, hey, look, you can do A, B, C, D. What about this suggestion, right? You can offer like insight.
Which does happen.
It happens, but then a lot of guys actually feel like, yo, it's not a safe space, because sometimes women will just like kind of shut us down in a polite way. It's not like it's actually intentionally going like, yo, I'm trying to hurt you.
To be honest, I think it goes back to what Kuda says, that one, a lot of the time women are giving back what they get. And another issue that comes is sometimes I feel like men are going to the wrong type of girl for a certain kind of thing. And I feel like I don't understand why you thought your college 20-something young Han that you found in the club is about to help you with some other stuff. You know what I mean? If you come at a relationship where it's clearly a thing of a girl who wants to have a good time, she wants to get spoiled, she wants you to buy her things and whatever. She doesn't want to hear about your business problems. She wants you to spoil her. And the moment you start talking about not having money, she's looking for the next type of person. And for some guys, then you want to be heartbroken, but you knew that like I attracted this person with money. Our relationship has been about money. And so it's not really throwing it back in your face, but it's just the reality of saying that, well, if you're with somebody who's made it clear that I want a certain kind of man to sustain a certain kind of lifestyle. Once you can't do that anymore, you're not giving her what she wants in the relationship. But show me a relationship where you went in with somebody on a genuine level and you're coming in, you're taking care of her, and you have a problem and her instinct is not to nurture. Her instinct is not to try and make things better. I think guys get to a certain point where you just don't like her anymore.
No, that's not what happens. Usually what happens, so I've seen this trend where like Hans will be like, dude needs to be chalanting more, like this nonchalant. So like to bring a bit more nuance into the conversation. So let's say like I meet a girl and she's not necessarily in the club or that type of thing, right? But then maybe on a personality level, because like, no matter how much you accommodate each other, there's always going to be some sort of like difference, because you're coming from different backgrounds and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe her conflict resolution or the way she looks at certain things is like kind of different, and then now you're kind of clashing where I don't feel heard. Like she actually is like being nurturing in her own way, but then I just can't feel that.
Can't receive it.
I can't receive it because I'm like, no, you're not doing it in this
the way
But
I want it.
Yeah, but when I'm doing it for her, she feels like, oh no, you see, my dude is always there, he's always by my side and all that. Then there's a little bit of
Remember how we had the episode on having difficult conversations?
Yeah.
And being able to, this is what I heard, this is what you want, this is what this is what you said, this is what I heard, this is what I received, right? Because, like Amna said, nobody's a mind reader, right? So what you tell me or what you say, because of my own life experiences, I will interpret it the way that it comes naturally into my brain. So it might not then be what you are trying to tell me. So you kind of have to get to the point, and there's a balance in any relationship, whether it's friendship, siblings, romantic relationships, where you have to get to know somebody's language. When they say certain things, you know what that means. So, you know, you kind of have to learn the person, and obviously that comes with time. But I think there comes a point where it sort of gels. But in the beginning, instead of making assumptions like she's not going to hear me, she's going to use it against me, how about we just sit there and talk it out and see what happens, right? Because also if you're really coming with that, your own insecurities come to play. So even if I'm told, say you told me last week, oh, I'm not getting paid, I'm not making enough money, I don't feel like I'm making enough money, right? And then the next 2 weeks later, I'm looking at a pair of shoes and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to buy these shoes online. Now you're saying, you see, she's buying her own shoes because I said I don't have money. It had no relation to what we said, but because you're taking it and your insecurities are now coming to play, anything I say could seem to you like an attack. But if you came with, at least give me the benefit of doubt to say, no, I'm dating this person, I think she's really nice, that's why you came at me anyway, right? So there's no way she would think this about me. So let me give her a benefit of doubt and say, she didn't mean it negatively, maybe it's me. And then you come to me and you say, okay, when you said that thing, what were you trying to say? You know, like, especially in the beginning. I feel like in the beginning, people are always just assuming things and going through this. So now, 2 months later, it doesn't work because everybody, the walls are up, there's miscommunication, nobody's actually talking, insecurities and all of that.
It's all gone.
And it just boils down to communication.
It does.
And also hashtag date your type.
I think one thing we take for granted in relationships is how much of it is about learning yourself and teaching the other person. I think it's taken me a while to realize that you don't really have to be able to get everything from that person. And sometimes you're putting a lot of pressure into a relationship where it's like you're saying, I want a certain kind of empathy, but you can't really put it into words, but you just know that she's not getting it the way that I want her to get it. And sometimes it takes you getting out of that situation a little bit, doing some self-discovery, you know, growing a little bit before you're able to come back together and understand each other.
And that's your last word?
I feel like from what Six is saying, the same may need some help. Because it's lots of assuming, it's lots of girls do this, girls do that.
A lot of shit.
And you also and you also think that one set of thing works with every girl. We're also different. So if you don't communicate, I'm not sure how you expect her to then give you what you need.
Okay, just to wrap it up. The example which I was trying to give is, it's more of you're getting what you need out of the relationship. And
Are you sure?
No, I'm just saying, she's happy, like she's genuinely happy, right? In like every way, she's not complaining, and you're attentive and whatnot. But I'm just saying, when it's the guy's turn to speak on what he's going through, right? That's when there's like a bit of a disparity. And a lot of dudes, sometimes they'll just be like, yo, I'll just keep on soldiering through. You know what I'm saying? They'll be like, yo, I'm the dude. But then when she's going through whatever she's going through, he's there, he's attentive or whatever, she needs to vent. it's cool. But then when it's the guy's turn, it's like he can't even express himself.
Yeah, I get that. But I think before you even go into dating, those are conversations you need to have with your person. Because expectations should be done at the beginning of any relationship, not in the middle, not when you don't feel like she's doing it correctly and all of that. Because if you're dealing with someone and you've expressed to them that I need this, this, and this in a relationship, at the beginning, it will be much easier for you in the long run. Because now bringing things later on, yes, you will meet resistance because we've been doing it this way and I'm happy, so why should I change? And I guess that's where you're coming from, where you've given someone, okay, I now feel like you need to do this, this, and this more. Why didn't you tell me in the beginning so I could tell you?
But the relationship is not static, like...
Yeah, but I'm saying those expectations you're talking about, you wanted to be nurturing. You wanted to, when you give her your problems, you wanted to reciprocate and give you solutions and all of that. Should be in the beginning, because then what are we doing?
But then, people, there's a honeymoon phase for a reason, right?
You know what? We need another.
Guys, the fact that we went through 2 dilemmas is crazy. It's actually bad.
I think we should call this one 6 Wanted Some Relationship.
I think so. All right, until next time.
Bye.